Talk more about this and whether it could last and turn into something more substantial. Scott Bauer, CEO of Prosper Trading Academy. And Scott, of course, at the end of 2 weeks ago, I think it was a Friday and then Tuesday and then Thursday, there was a nice rally, and then it really dissolved into Friday selling, a new low for the S&P 500. But here we are again. It feels as though maybe the bulls are trying to get something together. So Romain was just talking about when we tie options into it, that VIX, it really just suggests that folks aren't hedging for something really bad out there. And that's certainly true with the skew near record lows. Talk to us about what you're seeing and if you think that this could develop into something similar to March when we saw on the NASDAQ 100 a 16% rally.
No, Abigail, you're absolutely right. And historically, we do see that VIX break out, typically above the 40-ish level or so to kind of give us a signal that maybe a sell-off is over with. That's when fear, gets to its highest. And we just haven't seen that. We just haven't seen that conviction in the VIX. In fact, you and I spoke a couple weeks ago, and I pointed out that we actually had a day where put options were more heavily traded than call options were in the VIX. And that is a complete reversal of what we typically see. Also, with a VIX trading 28, 29 where it is right now, that represents a daily move in the S&Ps of about 1.5% or so. We're actually seeing bigger moves than that. Something has to give. Either the market has to start calming down and consolidating, or the VIX has to rise. The two of them have to come into concert with each other.
Well, Scott, it's interesting because the selling that we have seen, and I would say for really pretty much all of the year, but most recently in particular, it's felt very orderly. Is there a chance that when we finally do get some sort of bottom, maybe we've seen it, maybe we haven't, that it won't be accompanied by this capitulation that everybody wants? Could this time be different? Which, as I say that, it's like, ooh.
Right. It's hard to swallow that. But yes, it could be different. And you make a great point because this sell-off has been pretty prolonged. We haven't just seen, a massive 2-3 days in a row get us down 15%. This has been protracted. This has been a grind, if you will. So it is possible that we're not going to see that capitulation, but history is not on that side.
Well, so speaking of history, what bear market period does this remind you of before? Because it seems to me to be a blend of 2000, 2003, where you did have that orderly selling, and then 2008, the volatility earlier in the year relative to all the signals that you're watching. Is there a market period in particular that you're reminded of?
I think closer to the 2000, 2003 area. I was actually trading on the floor at the CBOE for both of those times. 2000, 2003 timeframe, you're right. People expected the bubble, but it was more orderly. It was more of a grind down. Whereas the 2007, 2008, it was bedlam. I was in the middle of the S&P 500 option pit at that time. It was bedlam. You saw all-time record highs of the VIX there at 82 or 83. So to me, this is likened more to like the dot-com bubble.
Right.
But it's totally different macro environment than it was back then.
Yes, for sure. And we were just taking a look at a chart of the S&P 500 showing that orderly sell-off on the year. And speaking of another orderly sell-off, but it started in November of last year, NVIDIA, but you like the stock into earnings and down 49% over the last several months certainly provides an opportunity, I would think.
I think if there's going to be a surprise, it's going to be the upside because the expectations have just been so squashed for this company. It's going to be so closely watched. So I think that there could be a very big upside surprise, which I'm going to look for a very cheap play to the upside there. So I'm just buying a simple call spread this week, the 180, 190 call spread, $10 wide, can do that for less than $2, probably about $1.75.
Yep.
There would have to be a nice guidance in addition to the earnings report to get up to that level.
Well, we will know in a few days. Scott Bauer, CEO of Prosper Trading Academy, thanks so much for joining us for Options Insight as always. And from New York, this is Bloomberg.